The moment she opened her mouth, Simon Cowell stopped breathing. No one knew who she was. No one expected anything. She walked onto that BGT stage in a simple white dress, no jewelry, no flashy entrance. Just a woman. Just a name. Just a microphone. And a secret that was about to shatter every single person in that building. The audience whispered. Someone in the back row laughed. The judges glanced at each other. Simon leaned back in his chair, already reaching for his pen, already preparing to move on. That was his mistake. Because what happened in the next 4 minutes would make him put that pen down, cover his face, and weep in front of millions. She said her name quietly. Lisa Marie Presley. A few people in the audience recognized it. A few more gasped. But most of them just smiled politely and waited. They had no idea. None of them had any idea what was coming. Simon raised an eyebrow. Any relation? He asked with that smirk, the one that said he already knew the answer would disappoint him. She looked directly into his eyes and said, "He was my father." The room went still. Not quiet. Still. The kind of still that only happens when the air itself holds its breath. Piers Morgan leaned forward. Amanda Holden pressed her hand to her chest. Simon sat up slowly, his smirk completely gone, replaced by something no one had seen on his face in years, genuine, unguarded attention. She did not say another word. She simply nodded to the music director. And the first few notes began to play. It was a melody everyone recognized. A melody that belongs to history. A melody that belongs to a ghost. And as that intro filled the theater, grown adults in the audience started reaching for each other's hands without even realizing it. Then she sang. And the world stopped. Her voice did not sound like Elvis. That would have been impressive enough. Her voice did not imitate Elvis. That would have been extraordinary. Her voice was Elvis. The same depth. The same velvet ache. The same way a single note could split your chest open and pour something warm and devastating inside. It was not mimicry. It was not performance. It was inheritance. It was blood. It was a daughter carrying her father's soul in her throat and finally, letting it out. Simon Cowell's hand came up slowly and covered his mouth. He did not move it. Piers Morgan turned away from the stage. Not because he was bored. Because he was crying and did not want the cameras to catch it. But they did. They always do. Amanda Holden was already gone. Tears streaming. Mascara abandoned. She pressed both hands flat on the judge's table like she needed something solid to hold onto because the music was pulling her somewhere she was not prepared to go. The audience was on their feet before the first chorus ended. Not a polite standing ovation. Not the kind where people glance at each other first to see if it's okay. This was involuntary. This was bodies rising because they could not stay sitting while something this sacred was happening. People were clutching strangers. Old men were crying. A woman in the third row buried her face in her husband's shoulder and shook. Because this was not just a performance. This was a resurrection. Elvis Presley died on August 16, 1977. Lisa Marie was 9 years old. 9 years old when she lost her father. 9 years old when the world took him and turned him into a legend and left her with the grief and the name and the weight of being the daughter of the king. She carried it for decades. Quietly. Painfully. Through marriages and heartbreak and addiction and loss and the unimaginable death of her own son, Benjamin, in 2020. She carried all of it. Every pound of it. And she stood on that BGT stage and she poured every single ounce of that pain into her voice, and it came out as music, and the music came out as her father, and her father came out as love. When the final note ended, there was a full 3 seconds of silence. 3 seconds where no one moved. No one breathed. No one blinked. And then the BGT theater exploded. The sound was unlike anything the show had ever captured. It was not applause. It was release. It was thousands of people finally exhaling after holding something enormous inside for too long. It was grief and nostalgia and awe and gratitude and something that doesn't have a name but lives somewhere between your ribs and your throat. Simon Cowell stood up. Simon Cowell, who has sat through thousands of auditions, who has heard voices that defied physics and performances that rewrote what talent meant, who has remained unmoved by things that destroyed everyone around him, Simon Cowell stood up. And when he spoke, his voice cracked. "I've been doing this for over 30 years, he said. And I have never, not once, experienced anything like what just happened in this room." He paused. He looked at her. He looked at her the way you look at something you know you will remember for the rest of your life. "Your father would be so proud of you." Lisa Marie did not speak. She pressed her hand to her heart. And she cried. Not the polished kind of tears that celebrities cry for cameras. The real kind. The ugly, overwhelming, "I've been waiting my whole life to hear that" kind. The kind that breaks you open. The golden buzzer sat there, untouched. But it didn't matter. Because what happened in that theater was not about a competition. It was about a daughter standing in the light her father left behind and finally, for the first time in her life, not being afraid of it. Later, backstage, Amanda Holden said something that no one expected. She said, when she sang, "I didn't hear Lisa Marie. I heard Elvis. I know that sounds impossible. But I heard him. He was there. I promise you, he was there." Piers Morgan, who is not known for sentimentality, who built a career on skepticism and sharp edges, said this, "I've interviewed presidents. I've sat across from prime ministers and warlords and billionaires. Nothing has ever made me feel what she made me feel today. Nothing." And Simon? Simon said the least. But he said the thing that mattered most. He said, she didn't inherit his name. She inherited his soul. There is a moment in every generation when art stops being entertainment and becomes something closer to medicine. When a voice reaches through the noise and finds the part of you that is still broken, still grieving, still searching for something you lost a long time ago. When music stops being sound and starts being memory. Lisa Marie Presley gave every single person in that building one of those moments. She gave them her father. She gave them themselves. She gave them the reminder that love does not die when people do. It hides. It waits. It passes from one generation to the next like a secret, like a gift, like a song. And when it finally finds its voice again, it sounds exactly like coming home. The standing ovation lasted 11 minutes. No one left. No one moved toward the exits. No one checked their phones. 11 minutes of thunderous, weeping, breathless gratitude from thousands of strangers who had been turned, without warning, into witnesses of something holy. 11 minutes. Because some voices don't just sing. Some voices carry everything that has ever been lost. Some voices reach across death itself and remind you that the people you loved, the ones you thought were gone, never really left. They just found another way to reach you. And on that BGT stage, under those lights, in that impossible silence before the world came apart at the seams, Elvis Presley reached through his daughter's voice and touched every single heart in that room. And none of them will ever be the same.